Nvidia, ladies and gentlemen, smashing success over the last little bit. The news that's been coming out has been phenomenal. One, rumors about Blackwell chips that are going to be able to be sold to China are getting more and more real. I'm hearing from great sources that they are working on it. It's not even really a secret anymore. Almost everyone knows that they're doing it. They don't have code names for their products because, that's just what they've always done. So they are literally working on B30, B40 products. Everything's going well there. On top of that, you have Jensen Huang going out and investing in many different countries. So we're seeing the UAE deals. We're seeing the European tour, let's call it, he's going through. And now we actually have a video of him at the UK also talking that I want to share with you guys as well. This is very exciting.
UK has one of the richest AI communities anywhere on the planet. The deepest thinkers, the best universities, Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial College, amazing startups. You're rich with great computer scientists. It's a fantastic place for VCs to invest. The ecosystem is really perfect for takeoff. It's just missing one thing. It is surprising, this is the largest AI ecosystem in the world without its own infrastructure, which is the reason why we're talking about it so much.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why Prime Minister's announcement of investing in computing, 20 times more computing, is such a big deal. And I think it's just such an incredible place to invest. I'm going to invest here. As you know, many in the local we're going to invest in helping start off the AI ecosystem of infrastructure. And once we get the flywheel going, then research, startups, businesses, more consumption of infrastructure. Infrastructure enables more research, more breakthroughs, more companies. That flywheel will start taking off.
Jensen says it right. And you know what? He even spoke about the Prime Minister's comments there, 20x compute. He's talking about the sovereign AI. They need to build out their own infrastructure. And of course, the companies that they're talking to mainly is Nvidia, right? And that's what we keep we're needing to see, okay? We don't want Nvidia to just sell what we're already expecting. We need to grow estimates. So although they continue to like demand is outstripping their possible supply, like even at most TSM makes as many chips as possible. They're fully booked out. Okay. They cannot make as many chips. They cannot put as much purchase back into property and equipment to match future demand. This is the type of level of demand that artificial intelligence needs. And we're continuing to see over and over pushed boundaries in terms of what people are expecting. I posted this on X because I saw, I think it was CNBC post about it, that OpenAI reported $10 billion in ARR in under 3 years. Okay. They even said that this is ARR. This is not taking into account one-time deals or anything along these lines. And yet, whenever we consider, let's go back here. Whenever we consider that they came out openly in March and said, hey, we want OpenAI revenue, not ARR, total revenue to hit 12.7 billion this year. Okay. 12.7 billion. Well, now we're seeing that they hit 10 billion and the halfway point in the year hasn't even hit yet. We're at the beginning of June. It's been 5 months. Okay. This is absolutely incredible. They're going to blow past their own estimates. And I'm even hearing sources that this is a low estimate. The 2029 estimates of 125 billion, could it be possible that that those are conservative estimates? That's really the hope. Okay. If that's true, that means the analysts that have modeled out the compute that's needed to supply 125 billion of ARR for, ChatGPT in 2029 were wrong. We're going to need more. What was the modeling done for the amount of competitors that were needed? Okay. Because we're seeing Anthropic also put up $4 billion of expected revenue over the last 12 months. Okay. So they're doing very well. We're seeing Cursor, for example. Take a look at this. They just posted. So I'll show you two different slides here. They posted a while back, in February, okay, that they hit 100 million of ARR in the fastest time that we've seen in a company. Even Wiz, which was a mind-blowing business that's doing $1 billion in ARR, or expected to by the end of the year, that all of a sudden got bought for $32 billion by Google. Hopefully that deal closes. That's at 100 million, okay? They just put up a few days ago that not only did they secure further funding, $900 million, for which I definitely would have been a part of, but I'm not Andreessen Horowitz, so I don't get these kind of calls, but that they're happy to share that they've grown to over $500 million in ARR. 500 million. They continue to push out new products, and the customers are saying that the total amount of their code base is increasing as a percentage of how much of it has been coded by artificial intelligence. Reports have come out that Meta is now saying that 70% of their new code that's published is artificial intelligence. Like, what are we talking about here? What is the company that's enabling this? Okay, what is Meta doing to build data centers, AI factories that are going to be the size of Manhattan? That's a real statistic. And are saying this is going to create a mid-level engineer. What happens whenever we get a high X engineer, a 10X engineer, okay? Where AI is better coders than humans, where, to be the best coder in the world, you need a good idea and know how to prompt the AI, okay? You're going to have app creation like we've never seen before. You're going to have videos that are being done, image generation being done, jobs that we are just fully automating. And what is the infrastructure that's needed in order to facilitate all of this? It's literally Nvidia. Okay. So whenever people say that Nvidia is capping out here, that 250 billion is the highest that analysts see that their annual revenue is going to get to, I think now it's actually a little bit higher than that, but they were stuck at that for a bit. To me, it's all filler. Like it's nonsense, because I think it's very hard to project out how much exponential growth is going to happen from automation. Whenever you automate something, you don't need to do it again, okay? The compute rolls in the background, which, by the way, is still requiring what NVIDIA does, okay? But now we have humans and ideas like brain share goes to another project to then automate, goes to another project to then automate, right? So this is something that I foresee being a very long roadmap for NVIDIA. They come out and said, like, they're already starting to work on their infrastructure and production for Vera Rubin, okay, which is going to be their next GPU CPU combo, for which Vera is going to be for the next two designs for Feynman and Rubin, which are just they're the names of their next products, their next architectures. So that's, think Hopper, which was last series. We're on Blackwell right now. That's hit full production. We're releasing those right now. We're now going to get into Blackwell's next version, so the Blackwell Ultra. Each one of these processes that go from Hopper to Blackwell to Rubin to Feynman increases the amount of token generation that can come out while lowering the cost for the companies that are owning these data centers, okay? Every time that happens, they can do more for less. As NVIDIA used to say, or Jensen Huang used to say, the more you buy, the more you make, right? Which, it's true. He even called himself the revenue destroyer. If you can move off of Hopper and onto Blackwell, your company is going to make more money, because the token generation for the hyperscalers, for the cloud providers, is what they are selling. That's their revenue now, okay? And those are growing at triple-digit rates. So I'm seeing no end. And every day we're getting more and more reports that not only what we were suspecting is happening, but it's actually much better than we ever could have imagined. That brand new startups are getting to 500 million in ARR. The cybersecurity names are exploding because there's just so much freaking traffic. We're seeing just at every angle, it's getting more and more exciting. Okay. And now Jensen's not even talking about the hyperscalers anymore. He's talking about industrial AI, sovereign AI. He's going to the next steps. Okay. So I think that's the multi-year stretch where us as retail need to try to envision. I mean, what we're end up seeing actually in NVIDIA's stock price, let's talk about the actual investment here for a second. right now, the stock has run from 90, for which institutional was selling off and retail was buying, and then it ran up to 140. But now we're seeing retail actually selling off that runoff and institutional being the big buyers of that run up because they're seeing what's happening next. China doesn't get any worse than zero revenue, right? That's been fully formulated into the models. So all future potential catalysts is China getting back into the game, for which, by the way, this was absolutely a possibility. Let me find. I tweeted about it somewhere. Trump gives U.S. negotiators room to lift export controls on China. They even talked about chip making software. What they didn't talk about, so people are pushing back saying that, hey, they said that Nvidia chips were not on the table. No, that's not what Hassett said. He said very, very high-end Nvidia chips are not on the table. Very, very high-end chips. To me, that brings up a big spectrum. Is he talking about Blackwell? Is he talking about H100s? Like, that's what I consider very, very high-end chips. The H20 is pared down to be able to be sold to Nvidia or to China. So if that opens up, that opens another $50 billion in annual recurring revenue as a new customer comes online. If TSM is to stop making Blackwell chips to make another chip instead, what is Nvidia then going to charge for those new products? Because they're like the capacity's maxed out. Okay, so if you want to be on that list, if you want to take control of your chip, if you want to take ownership of the things that you're buying from Nvidia before your customers, what do you have to do? Pay more. So the margin goes up. Okay, that's why we saw the margin expand during this AI boom, because you had companies like XAI come in and say, hey, not only do we want our chips, but we want them expedited. We're willing to pay much, much more to take ownership today. Okay, that's why Nvidia has the highest margins versus AMD or any of the other competitors. It's not because their customers don't understand that they're charging a margin. It's that the product is so much better that people are willing to pay more than to take ownership of something that might have a higher total cost of ownership. Okay, so if China opens up, that'll be a massive add to their overall sales. I think that the benchmarks for retail need to be increased. I think people need to see the longer sort of runway for what Nvidia is actually doing here. Okay, and then including that, whenever people think of data centers, they think of LLMs. Okay, but the thing that Jensen Huang continues to try to talk about is there's so many more generations to what artificial intelligence is. We're rebuilding compute architecture or like compute infrastructure here. So in the next version of what a car looks like, they're fully self-driving. Well, every single car then needs many more sensors, many more chips that actually are the brain of the car, which is hosted on the vehicle. But then in order to get smarter from the car to the entire fleet, every single fleet needs a new data center. Okay, then so GM's going to need data centers, or they're going to need to partner with and pay for renting at a company that's willing to do that for them, like AWS or something like this. So each car needs a chip. Every data center needs, many, many more chips. Every data center needs Nvidia. More sales. Take that into robots. Every robot's going to need onboard chips. Every robot for its fleet will need data centers. Every data center is going to need Nvidia. Think about that for smart cities, which is what UAE is trying to do, and a bunch of these different countries is what UK is trying to do right now, right? If you're trying to increase security, drones, surveillance, whatever, all of that is going to need Nvidia. The market is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and there are some investors that see it. But if you're telling me that right now you're willing to put Costco or something like this at a higher multiple for growing 9% year over year, and the companies that are growing 65 plus are not getting that same multiple, they're at forward earnings at 28 times, 29 times, we have to rethink what the heck we're doing here. It's not even just the revenue growth. I mean, look at the margins, guys. Look at the cash flow, free cash flow. It does not get any cleaner than that. Nvidia will be the most profitable company at the end of 2025, fiscal year 26 for them. But like by far in the lead. What do they get to do with that money? Invest in new businesses, like whether that's complete M&A or venture capital. Usually whenever you get to that size, regulation will kind of hold you down from M&A. So they'll do venture capital and they'll benefit from that. Google's benefited from that for decades now. Okay. On top of that, then they can do buybacks. They can increase dividends, anything that helps with shareholder return, investing back into technology development, making sure that their products are better than their competitors. The flywheel is spinning faster than any company has ever seen. And Jensen Huang he's got a clear head. He sees it. Okay. He's managing by far the fastest accelerated mega cap growth any CEO has ever seen. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Every hardware company that's ever existed has eventually been disrupted. Yeah, I mean, they might not. I'm not calling for a multi-bazillion year outlook here for Nvidia, but I'm just saying for the next at least 5 years, I don't see who the heck steps in. The real hardware requirements to just replicate what Nvidia does, we're talking very, very few companies can replicate. Then you talk about the money that's required in order to fund that level of research. I mean, they put $20-30 billion a year into their technology development. Okay. To replicate that, you're talking about no small software team. There's going to be no Steve Jobs in a basement that can replicate what NVIDIA is able to do. Like this is massive, like big projects, right? This would be like trying to disrupt Boeing. There's no small team that's getting together to disrupt Boeing. So that's also very important as well. And then on top of that, it's the software layer that's super important, which is CUDA. Okay, so it's not just hardware. We're talking about a software business as well. And each individual company that's built on top, and this is why they're investing in education and schools and all of these things, because these kids are learning CUDA. Okay, and that's important as well. The next breadth of engineers and computer scientists are learning on NVIDIA. That's why Palantir has such an advantage, is because this has been an 18-year-long vision. But CUDA has been a multi-decade vision as well. I mean, he's been talking about this since early 2000s. There still is Airbus. Yeah, I mean, we have AMD too. We have AMD. But that doesn't mean that, second place becomes first place just because people say that they're going to be disrupted. I need to see something from AMD to believe that. They've been pretty weak on the software side. CUDA's been NVIDIA's advantage here. And now they're getting into networking. And I mean, they've been in networking for a while, but you're going to see a massive explosion in their growth from networking. Follow me on X. I've been posting a lot more, and hopefully you guys like that. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. But bye for now.